Yeah. Woo. Music.
Friday.
It's a Friday show. You gonna introduce us, or you gonna stand there?
Let the music do its thing. Live from your ESG. It always says compost bin. Maybe I'll just keep that permanent. It's a Business Pants Friday show here at July 7th Lane Studios, featuring all your favorites: Ari the Data Queen, Jesse the Money Whisperer, and the BS Man extraordinaire, Matt Moscardi. Whoa, Matt Moscardi joining us today.
Stop playing with your phone.
On today's, really, it's like the last 2 weeks weekly wrap up.
Yeah, it's like a 4-week wrap up.
Threads, traveling nude, celebrities are better than scientists, duh, and cruises still suck. Oh no.
Still.
Yay!
Wow.
Yes, they absolutely do suck. That's correct.
I was hoping they'd figured it all out.
No, they have not.
Well, I don't understand it that if subways don't suck and buses, mass transit, that doesn't suck. Why do cruises still suck? I don't get it.
Oh, they're the worst.
Don't worry, we'll
Come
get
on.
into
What a
it.
stupid
Someone can
question
explain
that
to me later.
is. Yeah, the audience even gets the joke.
So we're all back from conference week, excited for the Friday show. We didn't really ever do a conference report, but we don't have a lot of time today. Maybe next week we can do a conference wrap up.
Maybe next year. When
Next
it's
year.
No
In
longer
In
relevant.
2027.
It's always relevant, Ari. It's always
We
relevant.
should set a target date, like like maybe when women's tennis gets paid the same amount in cash prizes as men's tennis.
What is it, 2033? 33.
10 years.
Yeah.
Maybe when that happens, we'll do our 2023 conference week roundup.
All right.
Sounds
All
good to
right.
me.
Greenfin is going to be excited for that.
I'll remember.
Yeah, well, I'll let Grant at Greenfin know.
All right, you ready
All
to get
right.
at this? I know you guys have time limitations. Do you want to just get rolling?
Tell me.
Let's do this.
I still hate this music.
I think it's fabulous.
What is that? Is that like July 4th music? Is that music from Hamilton, the musical? What is
Oh,
that?
it's like old-timey newsreel music.
It's weird. Ari, do you like that music?
Every time I open my compost bin, that's what I hear.
Okay. Oh, that's
Which-
actually a great feature.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I
Musical
want your
compost bin.
compost bin.
Because all I hear is fruit flies and like egg yolks. That's what I hear.
Yeah, summer's a little dicey.
Here we go. Story of the week, last 2 weeks. We missed 3 horrible Supreme Court decisions.
Oh.
They found us. They somehow found us, though.
And they all kind of overlap with our world here, so I wanted to cover them. First, they struck down race-conscious admissions programs, right? That's affirmative action, which might embolden opponents of workplace diversity initiatives. That's the early news, that
Yep.
they're going to come after DEI programs.
That's next.
They dealt a blow to LGBT rights, of course, by ruling that the constitutional right to free speech allows certain businesses essentially to discriminate against gay people, right?
That's fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
Because of your fake God, I suppose, right? Isn't that the reason?
Whatever one you want to make up today.
Although, ironically, Matt, you told me that our favorite anti-ESG expert, former guest on this show, Vivek Ramaswamy, said that the first commandment in his weird new 10 Commandments is that God is real.
That's correct. So he had 10 truths.
Truths.
Like
These are truths.
He has like his whole T-shirt merch line is now just truth, and he's got 10 truths. And the number 1 truth is God is real,
Wow.
and the number 2 truth is there are 2 genders. That's
Oh
it. So
my
he's
God.
just
Oh my God.
going to, like,
But here's
there's
the thing,
no.
I
There's no
can't.
truth that's like the right to life, liberty, and happiness or whatever it is. It is just God is real, and there's 2 genders, so fuck you.
But I will say this, Matt.
Sounds like he misspelled opinions with truth.
He
with the
did.
word truth. I will say
Yeah.
this, Matt, though. When someone
Confusing.
casually comes up to me and says, like, how did Spider-Man shoot the webs out of his hand or whatever, I will just start answering the question. So maybe he's right. Maybe God
And
is
then
real.
it would be that would be one
Right?
of the 10 truths.
I don't say,
yes.
well, Spider-Man's a made-up fictive character. I can't talk about it. All right. And finally, they blocked Biden's plan to cancel $430 billion in student loan debt,
Ew.
which they say will have a direct negative impact on the economy. So there you go. Those are the 3 horrible rulings out of the Supreme Court. The number 2 story of the week has to be the another potential Twitter killer. Meta's Zuck.
You did not just say Twitter killer.
Well,
Why
I'm looking at the
is that?
headline.
Oh, okay.
And I'm thrilled because seconds before the show, someone corroborated what I was thinking, which is that Zuck is finally having a good week. This is out of Axios. They agree with me.
Just wait till we
people
get to
suddenly
my
like
section.
Zuck for 10 minutes. It's amazing.
Yeah, I know.
Just because
not
because
amazing.
he launched Threads and
Amazing's the wrong word.
Do they like Zuck or do they just hate Elon?
they
more?
really hate Elon.
This is like
They really
the
hate
better
Elon.
of.
Do they even need to get in a cage to settle this?
It's never going to happen. So that's the second big story of the week, is that there's a huge competition coming up for Twitter called Threads out of Mark Zuckerberg's companies. Number 3.
Competition for
Yeah?
something no one asked for.
Do we think it's gonna stick? I feel like everybody rushed to it so they could get their like preferred name, because
No,
every time
you have
social
to use
media-
your Instagram name
Oh, you do? How do you know all of this? Oh my god.
because I read things.
I just like-
Because he's
Matt
on
secretly
it.
has threads. Yeah. Everybody
I'm not
find
even on
him
Instagram.
at
Oh.
BS Man.
I like
Is that
here are the two.
taken?
Here are the two
Well,
details
now
I
it is.
like.
We waited too long.
I like that Elon Musk is mad that Zuck is hiring Twitter employees that Musk already fired.
Yeah, he fired them. Yeah.
And I like that he's angry about the monopoly over there at Meta, even though Elon is now currently taking the first steps in creating an everything app
I like
that will essentially monopolize the entire world.
he was arguing about how Meta's using an algorithm-only approach from a man who fired all the content moderators, right? Like, isn't Twitter an algorithm-only approach? There are no people left. I don't get it.
Do we
The
think
no-
Threads is gonna stick? Can we do a quick
Wait, didn't you already ask
prediction thing?
that? Do I think
Yeah,
Ari's going
nobody
to
a-
stick is
I
the real
hope
question.
not.
Yes, of course. I don't know why it wouldn't. Especially what Matt's saying, if it's tagged to Instagram. Instagram seems to be the one thing over there at Meta that people really just love. I don't know. Facebook seems to be kind of dwindling, but if it's tagged to your Instagram account, why wouldn't it be a big
Sad.
thing?
Okay.
Right?
Yeah,
Anyway. Number 3, big story of the last 2 weeks. For the third day in a row, Earth's average temperature breaks record highs.
Ew.
Yeah, that's sad.
Despite the fact that if you're watching at home, you see Ari in a jacket. Yeah, don't look at that. That's not proof of anything. And the number 4, hold on. The number
4. Jesus.
The number 4 big story of the week falls right into our camp. BlackRock's Larry Fink said he won't be saying ESG anymore. He's done. And I'm gonna praise him because that's something that we promised
Yeah,
and
that
we
could be
failed
good.
at, and now he's done with
What
the
is he
term
gonna say
ESG.
now?
Yeah, I was gonna say, what is he replacing it with?
Did he
I don't
say?
know.
He said conscientious capitalism.
No, that's not true, is it?
GSE.
No,
That's
it's
not. That's not actually true. But he
I want him
did.
to replace it with GSE.
He did actively support stakeholder capitalism 2 or 3 years ago. So Matt, you're kind of right about that. But he hasn't talked about
yeah.
that since.
I mean, he says all sorts of things.
Yeah,
I think
so
he's
those-
just going to say capitalism from now on.
So those are the 4 stories. Supreme Court sucks. Threads has been launched. Earth is boiling, and Larry Fink won't be saying ESG anymore.
I mean, the story of the week is probably the Supreme Court. It was just like an onslaught of shit from the Supreme Court.
One after another.
Um,
But Threads has overtaken everything.
well, Threads is like the story of the moment, but like then everyone's going to realize that it's stupid also. And I think the story that we ought to be talking about, which would be the story of every week of every year, is that we're fucking on fire.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like 9 million degrees everywhere. And they're actually saying because of El Nino, the heat is going to keep up and it's just going to make everything's going to accelerate. So this is this feels like the year we start our death spiral.
Yeah, I shared an article yesterday from The Guardian saying that enjoy it because this will be the coolest summer in the,
Yeah,
in
that
the
was
rest of your life.
Texas.
That was literally the worst headline
Yeah.
I've ever read in my life. This is the coolest summer you'll have again. That's like horrible.
Yeah.
we're all gonna move to Canada, way up north.
It's
So
not
I'm
going to help.
confused.
I was just in Canada. It's hot. It's hot there. Believe me.
Yeah, you were probably in the bottom 10% of the country. We gotta
Okay,
go
but
to
that's
the
where
top
everybody
top.
lives, though. No one lives up in the other
This
part.
is great. I'll get a lot of land.
We're
'cause
going
I'll
to
be a
the
true.
pioneer.
Islands. We're
That's
gonna-
true.
Let's. I don't have a. I hate all of these.
Ari, you
Does
start.
anybody
You're a
have
good vote starter, Ari.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Supreme Court
Yeah.
because they just kept stomping on me after kicking me down. And the student loan thing directly affected me, so I'm sad.
Yeah.
I'm gonna choose that as well.
Kind of hard not to choose that. I mean, I know that technically it was last week, but we missed it, so we had to
Yep.
include it.
Yeah.
Matt, your vote
it-
doesn't matter.
My vote doesn't matter.
But
I
you
would
are
have
right,
voted-
though. The most important thing is that the Earth.
He already voted.
There will
think I
be
would
there
go
will be
with-
no
Didn't you
earth
vote?
left for me to
Burning
pay my
Earth.
student loans.
Yeah, because the Supreme Court, like,
yeah,
it's
we might
great.
as well not pay.
You
Yeah.
know what? Affirmative action
that.
is no more, and conservatives can rally behind that while we all literally melt.
Yep.
Like, it's fine.
All right, that's the story of the week.
That
Supreme
was
Court
like
sucks.
I thought that was the not exhausting. I thought Jesse was exhausting us the week. That was
I know.
literally the worst.
Well,
what
no,
are you
I-
doing?
You could have
Well,
focused on Larry
that
Fink. I
kinda
thought that was a
week.
fun one.
All right, let's do
Ah.
good Liz, because that was terrible. So it made me feel better.
I feel like
Come on, Ari. A lot of pressure this week.
you sucked the energy out of my section now.
Well, it's not me. It's just
was
reporting
so
on the biggest
excited.
stories. Come on, cheer us
I
up
was
then.
so excited for
Come
my
on,
headlines.
you have a new electric vehicle. Be excited.
All right, here we go. We're going to start with the nude traveling, but it's not really
Ooh.
nude traveling.
Oh, then I
don't know what
misread the
this is.
headline.
I already don't like it.
This airline wants you to travel across the world without clothes.
I mean, I assumed
That's
it was nudity as well.
That's
when
nudity.
I
just
would
read the
not
headline.
want to put my bare butt on a seat where somebody
Ugh.
else has put their bare
Speak
butt.
for yourself.
That's kind of gross. No, but Japan Airlines, and I especially love this story because I feel like they're thinking outside the box, and that I love that.
Thinking outside the
Japan
island.
Airlines has just begun a year-long trial to encourage its passengers to rent clothing, supposedly at affordable prices,
I would do that.
and they will receive them at their destination.
I actually might do that because I hate this. I hate modern day packing because you're always like you're spending an extra $300 to bring a bag on. You're constantly weighing
I
it because you
know,
fear
it's
the
crazy.
$7,000 overage cost.
It's
I hate
panic
clothes. I hate
packing half
shopping.
the
I hate
time.
everything.
Oh,
I'll rent
also,
clothes.
people like new clothes for their trips.
I like new
So
clothes.
now they get new clothes.
I'm
but
gonna
they're
rub
rentals.
ketchup right into the
People
crotch. I
buy
love
new
it.
clothes for trips. This is a thing. But the primary goal of this is to help reduce carbon emissions because
I like that too.
supposedly it would lower the weight on the plane, which would lower the fuel consumption.
They promise to save the world in the year 15,050.
Hey,
Can you
one
bring your-
bag at a time. We
One
need a
bag at a time.
1,000-prong approach. This
The
is
1,000-prong
is-
approach.
I
This
only
is
like this though. Ari.
0.01% of
Can I ask
one
you
prong.
though? Like
What?
what's offsetting?
Don't fly.
No, well, yes.
Mhm.
I'm not. That's not a question though. That's just a statement.
Don't go to Japan if you live in
fucking
America.
Says the
flying.
person who's going to Japan.
I don't want to
my
go to
God,
Japan.
Matt can
right.
rent something.
Matt can be the
I
poster
want
child for
nothing to
this
do with
ad.
any of
I
it.
don't think they have Bermuda shorts there anymore.
Oh,
I don't even
That
Are
wear
you-
was
Bermuda shorts.
2005.
Matt, are you
Um,
flying Japan Airlines? Do you know?
I have no idea what we're flying. I
Oh,
think we're flying
boo.
like Delta or something.
Oh,
But the trade-off of renting your clothes, saving carbon emissions for that flight, versus the amount of water and energy it takes to clean the clothes from the lice-infected passengers.
I hear you.
Which
that
which
might
one
be
is
true.
can you at
hear
least
you.
bring your own undergarments? Like,
Yes.
you get
no,
a small
no
bag.
underwear,
You-
nothing.
you can bring your own socks and your
Everyone's
own underwear.
just in
No.
a robe on the,
So-
on the plane.
I love everything about
That's
that.
not
Matt,
nice.
those are fair points, which is why this is a pilot. So they're going to look exactly at those things. But in the meantime, they have partnered with a sustainable fashion brand to supply the clothes and the laundry service that they will be using because you get freshly, laundered things
Ari,
folded and pressed.
I think what.
Won a sustainability award. So
Oh
they're trying.
wow. Yeah. Ari, I think what Matt's trying to say is it's too bad
What?
you guys don't still have your woke data podcast because you could cover this and you could weigh the
Ooh.
benefits here. I mean, you
It's
could.
coming, so
Okay.
they say.
Way.
Yeah.
Well,
by
you could figure this out for us. All right, what else? Come on.
I mean, just as some context here, United Airlines
I don't need more
decided to use
context.
lighter paper for their in-flight magazine and their in-flight
They just
stuff.
can't get rid of the magazine.
And it saved
That
literally
nobody likes.
hundreds of thousands of jet fuel per year.
That's sad that they still
Lighter
yet
paper.
maintain
so,
the magazine.
you know,
yeah.
wherever you can do it. All right, number 2.
Mhm.
Automakers are bringing back buttons and knobs as touchscreens become
A scourge.
scourge.
Wait,
Shoot,
This
I
is when
didn't
the
practice.
Peruvian comes
I
up.
didn't practice my.
This is
headline
good
reading.
news meant to
Yes, I love
counterbalance the
this.
fact that the Earth is heating up. Buttons.
I love this.
Buttons.
Are you freaking kidding me? For some reason, using your smartphone in the car is super dangerous. Don't do it.
True.
You'll get a ticket. But having a freaking giant iPad on the side is chill. Like, who
Yeah, I
ever
don't.
decided
I
that?
really don't like using.
Yeah, I
love
wouldn't
this.
know. My
cars.
car's from 2011, and I hate everything about it.
Well, what started out as just simple help for navigation, GPS, that's all very helpful. It ended up with entertainment and all these other things, and you have to touch the buttons, and you can't just feel for the buttons when you want to adjust a radio, right? Like, think about your radio volume knobs. You know exactly
Yeah.
where those are. You don't even have to look away. Anyway, Volkswagen, Hyundai, Nissan have all
Hyundai,
taken
baby.
public stances, and they are
I didn't even
leading
realize
the
this was a thing.
return
This is how out
of
of
the
it I am.
buttons and dials for more distraction-free.
Uh-huh. I
Driving.
buy this not at all.
Safety.
I buy this not at all.
However,
The crowd loves this too.
GM and Mercedes are not doing away with screens, and in fact, Mercedes is actually
What?
going for 3 screens in a single cabin because they can.
That's a great comeback.
Douchey thing
Fuck
to do.
you. We're doing 3 screens. Yeah.
Fuck you. We're adding a screen.
So I thought that was great because I hate screens. Like, that is my least favorite thing with my car.
Look, if
Really?
if
It's my
Star
favorite thing about your
Wars
car.
taught us anything, have you ever seen the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon in the movies? Of course you haven't, because
No.
It's just all it's all levers and buttons,
everything's
isn't
a
it?
lever and a dial and a button.
There's a
There's no
nice
screen.
big. It was a big
The
windshield.
screen was like a 3-inch by 3-inch screen. It was just like a green line. That was it.
It
There
was-
was nothing.
It was green and black. And last but not least, this is the headline. Huge blow for Meta as EU's
I wish,
top
yeah.
court sinks legal basis for targeted advertising on Facebook.
Okay.
Whatever. There was a lot of legalese speak, but the Court of Justice of the EU, which is the highest court in the European Union, just ruled on a case that dates back to 2019. So these are, Wimbledon 2027 things. when-
Yeah. Oh my God. That's a weird callback. Yeah.
So when the German antitrust authority decided that Facebook was abusing its dominant position in the social networking market by combining data from different platforms to provide more targeted advertising.
Okay.
So they ruled on it, and they're like, yeah, Mark Zuckerberg can no longer take WhatsApp data, Instagram data, Facebook data, now probably Threads data, and use all of these. Oh, and third-party data when you log in with Facebook to target ads to you.
You know what though?
Yeah.
Cool.
We stopped the Activision Microsoft
I know.
merger.
Miraculously.
Because like 7 kids play Call of Duty,
Yeah.
and we have not broken up this
gonna
stupid
say,
fucking
isn't there an
company.
isn't there an easier way to
yeah.
prevent
Look at
this?
You,
There's
you prevent this by not having one guy control all the shit.
Hashtag
there's-
break up big tech. I get it.
there's 2 things you can easily do is get rid of these horrible double voting rights, these super voting privileges,
Correct,
and
yeah.
and you could just get rid of his monopoly. I mean,
Correct,
monopolies
also
in general.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also
Yes.
correct.
And first, you can also get rid of their main way of advertising and their way of making money.
That
That's
seems
true.
like the long.
That's true.
Shoot, this happened in 2019. It's
And they ruled on it this week.
Yeah, 4 years ago, they were doing this. They've been doing it for the last 4 years. They've made billions of dollars on this.
And if I brought up this story in 2019, you would have said, well,
Come back. To
call
me.
me when we have a verdict.
I'm just
And we're
saying,
calling
it's a
you.
better version, yeah.
I don't feel
Um,
good about
We'll
it
call
though.
you.
But
I
on
don't feel
top
good.
of that, so the GDPR regulations where you have to like consent to all these things, right?
Yes.
So technically, all the users were consenting to this type of combo profiling in the terms and conditions. But the regulator has said that they had no choice but to agree if they wanted to use a leading
Yeah,
social
nobody
network.
pays attention to any of that
Therefore, Mark Zuckerberg was illegally using his power to break GDPR regulations,
That is correct.
which is a double whammy.
I don't know if this is a huge blow. It's something negative, I suppose.
It's a step.
You know what
Huge
the
blow?
worst-
I don't know.
The worst part about this goodliest trio, the trio being
Is that you like the knobs?
traveling across the world without clothes, autos with more buttons,
I don't feel good about
and-
any of this, really.
and the EU sinking
Ari
targeting
was excited,
advertising.
you guys. Just
Okay,
choose
but-
one.
I'm deep in on knobs.
Okay.
I'm 100% knobs.
But to
All
be
about
fair,
all the knobs.
You
be
freaking
fair to
Star Wars
Ari-
nerd.
it was a short work week, and Ari was scrambling for stories. When Ari
I
doesn't
was
have her
not
prep
scrambling.
time,
I
she
started last night.
doesn't make us feel
She
good.
did
When,
start
when
last
she
night.
hustles
Not
at the end, she makes us feel bad.
No, knobs made me feel great. I
So you
love
really
the knobs.
you earnestly like that, Matt?
I'm choosing airlines.
That would be the okay answer, but I'll
Matt,
I'll give
you
it
have
that.
a brand.
Excited. This is cool. I mean, it needs to change. The industry needs to change. It sucks. Let's see.
They're thinking
Whatever.
How about just
outside the
less
box.
flights?
Let me ask you something. If
Fewer
your
flights.
iPhone had knobs on it,
Yeah.
would kids be
I would hate
staring
it.
at it all fucking
That's
day?
true, that's true.
I mean, if everything was back to being knobs and levers, there's nothing to look at. Like you have to look up and see, oh look, there's a tree there. I've never seen that before.
I do want a flip phone. That's true.
Matt, you have a nice new electric vehicle, one that I'm
I do.
coveting and maybe gonna emulate.
I'm
does
jealous
it,
of his
does
knobs. He's
Does
got
it not
some.
have knobs, or does
It's
it have
knobs.
Some.
It's
Okay, so
got a
Hyundai,
couple.
and it's a
Knobs.
Hyundai, and they are following through on it. Okay,
It is
and you
Hyundai
like
and
the
they have
knobs.
some
is what you're
knobs.
saying.
Well,
And-
it also has a screen, but it does
It
have
has a screen,
some knobs.
but I will tell you this: my wife likes to use the screen, but
Mm-hmm.
I only use the knobs. Like when I'm looking to do something and you're driving, I'm like, I press the
It's a
button
weird
and
conversation.
it does the thing.
Yeah,
That's what
I
I'm saying.
do not like how I can't do the temperature control
Yeah.
with a knob.
I press a button.
do feel unsafe being like, how do I get to this?
Yeah,
Just
I'm
open your
freezing,
windows.
and I have to choose.
Well, I do that in my car because it doesn't have AC. So.
Yeah.
I have to
Oh.
choose
And
between.
you want to know how that was yesterday on the
I
hottest
don't.
day of
I don't.
the,
I actually don't
of
want to
the
know.
earth?
Tell us
history?
tomorrow the next hottest day.
It
of
was
the year.
gross.
All right, Ari, I'm gonna
What do you
just
got?
throw this back to you, just for the sake of the show. I'm gonna vote for the Meta EU story, just so you can break the tie. What's the actual
Wow.
goodliest of the week? What is it?
You don't believe your vote? I
No,
don't
I'm
know how to
playing a
handle
game
this.
here. I'm playing a long game. What's
Okay,
the actual
all
win, Ari? What's the goodliest?
Airlines without clothes, of course.
Oh no!
What about actually reducing the amount of
Fashion.
flights? Wouldn't that also?
What about reducing
Sure.
amount of people?
You can do that too.
You know
Okay.
what?
All
You
right.
know what? Taking out business seats for economy seats, fine.
Okay.
But
What if? Yeah, I would
Luggage
love
is also
instead
important.
of not putting clothes on the airplane, put no people on the airplane.
Yeah. How about
I
you just
just
can't check a
love-
bag?
fly empty airplanes like it's 2020
I
again.
just love the idea of being in a robe and slippers on an airplane. That feels so comfortable. to
Oh, a
me.
robe.
Like, come
I was
on.
thinking naked, but
Yeah, of course you went right to
Yeah, I
pure
did.
nudity.
Come on, bring us down.
All
Matt.
right, that's it for that. It's time
Make us
to do
mad.
something to make you angry. All right, asshole idiots of the week. This week, the asshole of the week is the Supreme Court.
Yay!
There is no vote.
No.
Instead, what we're going to vote
So
on
obvious.
is the second biggest asshole.
Ooh,
of
I
the
like
week.
this. I
Okay.
like this.
Okay.
I like
because-
not having a choice.
You don't have a choice about who the asshole is.
Well, you have a
It's already
sub
done.
choice.
Our first asshole of the week entry it's actually our first ESG regulation entry ever
Oh,
in asshole of the week.
Sexy.
It is the FCA, the UK's regulatory authority over the financial sector. Sasha Sudan.
That's a good name. I like that.
He's the FCA director of ESG.
Mm-hmm.
And he said this about ESG ratings. He's pushing back. They put out a labeling scheme. They're doing all sorts of stuff. They're heavily regulating it. He said, quote, "We will be able to see whether we think they are doing the right thing in the authorization process." So effectively, what he's saying is, we want to make sure ESG raters are doing the right thing. The regulator will decide what the ESG is.
What?
And it turns out, when you read all the regulation, they put out a draft voluntary code of,
Yep.
of principles that ESG rating providers would be able to sign up for. The voluntary standard is higher than the bar for all regular credit ratings currently.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Because you can actually, if you're a credit rater, you can create indexes and benchmarks. You can sell consulting services. They actually take money from the people that they're rating, so there's already a bad incentive there. No, none of that for ESG. They actually told ESG providers that they are talking about you cannot do indexes, consulting, anything. You only can provide the ESG rating to avoid the greenwashing. They're more worried about greenwashing
I don't
than they
understand
are
this.
worried
Do
about
you-
credit ratings.
Matt, do you know what Sasha Sedan's, what is his background exactly?
He's a finance guy.
Okay.
In fact, he put together an advisory committee on ESG in December of last year. It's a bunch of ESG people on it. Not one of them from an ESG rater. None of them have ever played with an ESG data point. None of them have rated a company for ESG. All of them are like, there's a couple academics. There's the people I know. Desiree Fixler's on there, the whistleblower from DWS. But they don't rate things.
Do you
So
think that
that's what
once
we're doing.
somebody just reminds them that all they're really simply trying to achieve is to identify long-term risk, they'll just give up all this bullshit?
I think when someone reminds them that ESG is just a data set and you can do whatever you want with it, like it's not like, I don't know what we're talking about. Like, why we're the biggest asshole thing is that a bunch of people who have never seen an ESG data point are saying we will make sure that the raters do the right thing. What's the right thing? Tell me what the right thing is, sir.
It's-
I want to know what the right thing is.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been in the industry for 10 years.
Maybe
20,
Vivek needs
30. How long have I
maybe
been
he
in this industry?
I think he needs to add an 11th point to his 10 truths, right?
So this is my deep cut ESG regulation. Asshole.
All right, I like it.
Number 2, that we have to choose between tech bro social options, where the ending point is Mark Zuckerberg is the adult in the room, because what we have now
sad.
is
Sad but true.
Meta launching
Sad but
Threads,
true.
and Elon Musk is fighting for Twitter. Like, we are in a situation where if you want to be on social media, you have to choose between which tech bro is the least asshole leaf to
You don't have
Yeah.
to, but I hear what you're saying, yeah.
But so I already hate it. I also hate that Threads inside of Meta. Threads is now something they're calling part of the Fediverse.
What's the Fediverse?
what
I
is-
saw that
what
headline
is-
and I did not.
I
It's
have
the
it.
federal universe of social media apps or something. It's
Oh, the
something
Zuckerverse,
internally-
you mean? Yeah.
Yeah, it should be called the It made me think of Kevin Federline is really what it made me think of, which I don't know
Wow,
how I feel about.
K-Fed.
Yeah.
Okay.
How's that for a throwback?
That's decades.
Well, let me
old,
ask you a
yeah.
question. Do we think that Threads is going to stick?
Oh,
I'm just
yeah.
kidding.
well,
Not
clearly
gonna
Mark
stop until
Zuckerberg.
you answer her.
Ari, clearly Mark Zuckerberg has no idea what he's doing. He's not very successful, so probably not.
He did only make Facebook.
You're gonna
he
get
bought
called a
Instagram.
mouth
He
breather.
bought
That
WhatsApp.
The joke's on Damien.
Yeah,
he
it
actually
all
isn't
right.
very good at
It's
what
all
he does.
it's all a failure. You're right.
You're
he has
gonna be
no
called
control.
a mouth breather for that.
Yeah.
true.
Because
Mouth
people are
breather.
gonna be like, he's a genius.
No, actually, no. You're wrong. Those people don't like Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah, no one comes to Mark Zuckerberg's
Yeah.
defense.
No one
number
worships Jews except for Jesus Christ. That's the only Jew they worship.
How dare you? Number 3, this headline: Leonardo DiCaprio is the most
Oh.
trusted authority on the climate crisis,
I almost chose
beating
that.
Greta Thunberg, Al Gore, and The Rock.
The
I had
Rock.
this down too.
Wait,
Here's
The
my
Rock
problem.
was on that list?
the Rock
the
is
list.
on the list.
The list is a teenager, 2 actors, and a politician.
Well, but Thunberg, like, she actually has credibility at this point. I mean, compared to The
Yeah,
Rock.
She's
Yes.
a teenager.
Okay.
What about Peter Kalmus,
She was
the
a
NASA
teenager.
scientist who's an outspoken,
Sure.
a person on climate change. He's
Yeah.
from NASA. He's a scientist. Allison Crimmins, head of the National Climate Assessment. Ken Golden, he's actually called the Indiana Jones of mathematics, and he talks about
Like it.
climate modeling. Or how about from your backyard, Damien, Brenda Hall? She's
Yes.
a professor of the School of Earth and Sciences and Climate Change Institute at the University of Maine.
Yeah, why not? Why
No,
not, Brenda?
They could have even
Leo.
done Bill Nye the Science Guy.
True.
No,
Here we go,
none of
Leo.
them.
Actually,
Zero
Bill
of them.
Nye is quite effective. Quite
He's
effective
super
speaker.
effective. Yeah. And our most trusted authority
Wow,
on
that's
the
insane.
largest scientific consensus and biggest issue facing the entire globe is Leonardo DiCaprio.
Which is like
Okay?
sort of doubly disheartening because his last big movie, which was kind of a social satire about this issue, everyone hated.
Yeah, no. Well,
Don't
it was
look
too
up.
woke. It was too
Yeah.
woke.
Oh, that's
well,
why they didn't like it.
yeah.
I thought they thought it was sort of like ineffective.
Yeah, no one liked it.
Well,
Right.
if he was sailing across the ocean right now, he would not hit an iceberg. Let's just say that.
That's true. There are none.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say
Good
yeah.
point.
And he probably is sailing across the ocean in a super yacht. So
Finally, who's the snowflake now, you assholes? Here's the headline: Anti-woke brands fuel parallel market for conservative shoppers.
yeah.
There's a website called Public Square. They take in all. It's like
sounds
Amazon
pretty
taking
woke.
in small sellers, but
Yeah.
you have to. I tried to sign us up for it. You have to,
You have to prove that you
have
know
to
the Ten Commandments.
agree
Yeah.
that with the sanctity of life, that you are a patriot. Like there's a thing in their terms and conditions
prove
that
it?
you agree to before you get
My
on.
God.
You have to prove
no,
it.
just agree.
You don't prove.
to
You
agree,
just say
okay.
I agree with these principles. You have to say that before
Really?
you get on. I said I disagree. It still let me on the site. But I went looking on the antiwokemonster.com, which is like Red Shop or something, or Red Balloon.
Okay, you're
Red
hurting
Balloon.
me, but you're hurting me.
And it was all lists of jobs for conservative PACs and Christian schools. Like literally, it was like we're looking for a science teacher to teach how science is the creation of God, right? Like it was like that. Like
Right.
all the. I went to the conservative
That's
pets.
called a priest, not a science teacher.
I went to conservativepets.com and it told me that
Conservativepets.com.
I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. It told me that they focus on dog wellness, not social wellness. And they have a dog food called Big Guns Dog Food. And it was
Okay.
great for hunters who have dogs. That's what they. That's
Oh my
Okay,
God!
okay.
What are you saying?
I found a health supplement that is designed for quote patriots.
What kind of patriots? It has to be
What's
the right
in
kind
it?
of
What's
patriots.
in it?
I don't know what was in it. It was like collagen
Testosterone?
peptides. No, it was like
All right.
collagen for patriots.
You're
I don't
killing
know.
me with this, Matt. You're killing me.
It turns out also Eco Baby, which
Yeah.
is a brand you might have actually heard of. They make organic mattresses for like cribs. They're anti-woke. They're listed. They agreed to the sanctity of life, and they're on the site. So
Eco Baby.
organic
Oh,
mattresses,
God.
some of them out. I thought it was funny that the French Home Shop
French
is
Home
on the
Shop.
public square. They're pro-America. They're
French
American
Home Shop?
French Home Shop is pro-America. That was a good one. And then finally, locally here, just outside of West Hartford, I found a new plumber.
Oh God.
They're called Kina. They're a quote freedom-minded plumber.
Oh my
They?
God!
Yeah, it's a plumber that when they do the plumbing, they do it with hate for socialism.
Wait, but this is a plumber that goes by the pronoun they?
No.
Oh, I
That's
was going
a
to say,
plumber-
this is going to blow up the
No,
system,
There's
right?
no pronouns
This would
involved.
melt
Hey.
down the whole website.
There's no pronouns involved. So really, conservatives, are we now who's the snowflake here? You created an
Is there
entire
safe space?
alternate reality,
All right,
safe
stop.
space,
Just
so you
get
can
off
feel
this.
included. It's the most ESG DEI
Can we-
thing I've ever heard of.
Can we edit this out of the podcast? Can we edit this part
No,
out?
it's-
I don't
No,
want to talk about
I
this
think I'm
anymore.
going to choose this just for the poetic.
Oh, I have a.
Ari's made her.
All
My
right, so your
choice is
assholes
obvious.
are not the Supreme Court already won. Okay,
My
So
choice
your
is obvious.
assholes for second biggest asshole of the week are UK regulator Sasha Sedan and their ESG idiocy. Tech bro social options. Leo DiCaprio as our trusted source of scientific knowledge on climate change, and snowflake conservatives.
My vote's easy, and this doubles off your first choice, Matt, for story of the week that the world is heating up. If Leo is our most trusted, I know, really, but this is why we're doomed, right? And I'm not saying this for a laugh. I mean, that's one of the most disheartening things I've seen in a long time. I mean, that's terrible.
I feel
Absolutely
you.
terrible.
To his defense, though, he does spend a lot of his time.
I
and
don't
money
care. I got nothing
promoting
against
things
Leo.
From
It's not
actual
about- it's not
scientists.
about
I like
Leo.
Leo.
It's not
I
about
got nothing
Leo.
against him. I got nothing against the dude.
Okay.
But Matt is right that
It
this
is
is the most
bananas. Yeah, I
most
get it.
trusted authority.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
We need a Fauci for
He's
this,
not.
right?
He's not. He's not an
I'm not sure
authority.
that's- Everyone
Well-
hates that guy.
But he's not an
I
authority
love
on the
that
climate
guy.
crisis. It's simply not what he is.
Okay.
And The Rock. I mean, The Rock is an authority.
I mean, the Rock should have won.
Yeah, that's my vote. That's my vote.
That's my vote too. I almost chose this for exhaustingest. I saw Matt had it. I let him have it, but yes, this my vote.
So your vote doesn't count, Ari, but what
Yeah.
would you have voted for?
I already
Jesse
voted.
forgets one of the main rules of this game, that if you have the same vote, you let the other person go.
Oh, well,
next.
Ari said she already voted.
She already
Yeah,
voted.
that
She voted
voted
for
public
snowflake
square.
conservatives.
She goes,
Oh, I missed
"Oh,
that. I
I'm
missed
gonna
that.
vote for
Sorry,
this."
Jesse.
Yeah.
There you go, Ari.
Snowflake conservatives. All right, so the winner of Asshole of the Week is Leo DiCaprio as our authority on climate change, which
Oh
brings
my
us
God.
to...
Our favorite segment.
God, this is the most depressing show I think we've ever done.
What are we gonna do when Ari's out?
Bad. 2 weeks, man.
We're going to be sad.
You had
There's
way too
no-
many
No,
assholes.
I'll get some actually good stories, not just like nude people on planes.
No, I don't have anything too.
Hey, how dare you? Knobs was good.
Knobs. I like that you like it.
if there is such a thing as lighthearted, exhaustingest stories,
Yeah.
I kind of have those. this
Go,
week.
go.
So
Run with
This-
it.
this is
Fast,
intriguing.
quickly.
I
I
love
think we're
this.
just all gonna be like, yup. Okay. So I wanted to cover this week's woke brand called
Woke
It's-
brand.
Yeah. It's a brand that's been deemed as woke. So
Okay.
it's called It's August.
Uh-huh.
It happens to be a menstrual hygiene product.
Oh, yeah.
And it's woke because the CEO, Nadia Okamoto, who
Uh-oh,
I
it's already
actually
woke.
know, did some work with her in Oregon.
Nice.
She
Have her on
chose
the show.
she was interviewed
Yeah.
by Gayle King and
Okay.
chose to refer to the people buying her, the customers, as menstruators rather
Yeah.
than women, because the fact is there's people that menstruate that don't identify as being a woman.
Sure.
So now the
Oh, I
internet
get
is
it.
having
I
an
get it.
absolute
Oh.
fit.
Which one? Threads or
Oh,
Twitter? Or-
It's Twitter.
People
The
have a lot
ones
of
I
free
saw-
time. Yeah.
The ones I saw were Twitter. But the craziest part, well, this isn't that crazy, but to me, the craziest part is that a lot of the backlash is coming from women who think they're being erased in this language.
Turfs. They're called turfs.
Like, oh, we're being erased. No, you're not being
J.K.
erased.
Rowling. Yeah.
So there was one, I had to include this because it's a Nancy. So
Oh, my mom is named Nancy, Jesse. This is not. This better not be my mom.
I hope it's not your mom. As a liberal, this is exactly why some people hate liberals. One woman named Nancy said, adding, "This sounds ridiculous. Just stop it."
The problem with that, Nancy.
God.
N-
As
Nancy,
a liberal, just shut up, Nancy. Don't care about it. Move on.
Well,
And I was gonna say they've always hated liberals, so it's not like this is a new thing. I mean, what are we
need to
doing?
stop listening to commentators named Nancy. Like
Yeah.
we do the thing on, like on the on the like weekend news or whatever, when they go out and they ask like somebody,
Yeah.
was it your husband interviewed like shoveling?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Safety tips for shoveling.
Yeah, we're asking safety
Ask a
tips for
Southerner
shoveling
how to shovel.
from a guy who's outside shoveling.
From
That's what
Virginia.
we do now. Like, why don't we? Like, it's like asking Leo DiCaprio about climate change.
Oh,
Stop asking
whoa.
normal idiots for what they think about the thing. Ask the experts from now on.
And of course, Piers Morgan had to chime in and say, "Menstruators, try women."
As we three normal idiots comment on everything.
Like, so there we go. This is our newest woke brand. You have to say that it's women, or else you're
More
woke.
importantly, Jesse,
Funny
can-
because we can't count.
get Nadia. Come on, we got to get Nadia for
Get
now.
her
We're
on?
the idiots.
Okay.
Good game.
Yeah,
Come on, Nadia.
She took a year off from Harvard and started a nonprofit called
Okay, you
Period.
name dropper. Okay, you don't have to name drop
And
everything.
What? Well, in
Harvard.
Oregon, I volunteered with her organization. So yeah, she's very cool. Okay, story number 2. This is gonna be a shocker. Turns out cruises are actually bad for the environment.
Yeah.
Whoa!
How bad are
But
they?
it's this data point got me though. Read out the data point that the,
Okay.
yeah.
A June study from the European Federation for Transport and Environment found that 63 cruise ships
63.
owned-
Just 63 ships.
owned by Carnival Corp emitted 43% more sulfur oxides than all the 291 million cars in Europe in 2022.
63. 63.
Ships.
Incredible.
I mean,
Incredible.
those ships are mammoth. Come on. But
Okay, but
Not only-
still.
Not only do they make the air worse, but you also guaranteed norovirus and COVID.
Ooh,
True.
and
That's like the
That's true.
triple
It's a
whammy.
cesspool. Yeah, but you know what? If you owned Free Flow Analytics, this
Which you
would
should.
not actually be a shocker to you because
Ooh, I
their
like
carbon
this.
rating is 0.029. 0.029.
Oh, wow,
This is
I
the
love that.
lowest of every
Wow.
company in the S&P 500.
oh, Jesse, I'm applauding Jesse.
I filtered and sorted, and it is the lowest.
Jesse, you just won the week for me. 'Cause not only the first one to plug our product, but you plugged it perfectly. Like that was
With
a
the right
beautiful
name.
plug.
Free Flow
Thank you,
Analytics
thank you,
batting
thank
average of
you.
carnival on carbon. is lowest in the
0.029.
S&P
Wow.
500. I love everything about that. Everything.
Okay.
I'm not exhausted. Now I'm
wow.
stoked.
All right, we're pumped.
Jesse
okay,
with
well,
the win. Yeah.
Let me try to bring you back down.
Go,
So
thank
we have my
I'm already
third,
down. Don't
my
worry.
third story is the exhausting return of Brian Johnson to our headlines. Anybody
Brian
remember?
Johnson?
Anybody remember Brian
No.
Johnson?
It's like the most
Is-
boring
All right.
name ever.
Is he the Rock?
Let me jog your memory. With the headline that we covered. Brian Johnson spends up to $2 million a year on rigorous program Project Blueprint aimed at reducing his biological
Oh,
age.
he's-
Oh,
So
yeah,
he's
Tech
a
Pro.
billionaire
CEO
that
Tech Pro, yeah.
is reducing
I
his biological
remember.
age. So he has returned, and everybody is going crazy on the interwebs because he has reduced his biological age by 5 years because he finishes his last meal of the day at 11 a.m.
What?
What?
That's how he did it?
That's
He eats
that's it.
between 6 and 11, which actually, Matt, sounds a little bit like what you do. So, are you
I've
part
seen
of
Matt
Project
eat at night.
Blueprint?
I've seen him eat at night.
I
He has
eat.
dinner.
I had a
eat
barbecue at his house
breakfast
like a
I
week
haven't
ago.
and eat dinner,
I
and
haven't
that's
seen
it.
him eat at night. Just he stops eating at 11.
Yeah.
His dinner's really early because he has children, you know.
You trying
My
to
dinner-
secretly?
I'm on-
It's
Yeah.
like it's like,
It's like the
lunch
extra
for normal
blue
people.
plate special. Yeah.
Yeah, but Jesse,
great.
you didn't read the whole article because what you missed is that he finishes his last meal at 11, but when his roommates order pizza, he like takes a slice.
Yeah, he's like, that's
Yeah.
their meal.
Yeah,
I'm
so
shoving it in my
You
face.
missed that part.
I just think it's funny because they're like touting all of these advances that they're making on him, and it's literally 5 years. Like, would you? I personally would not only eat between 6
You'd
and 11
eat at 3:30?
for 5 years.
Well, can I
I'm
ask
like,
you though, like, how does one measure? Like, if he gets hit by a car tomorrow, he didn't reduce his biological
Ooh,
age by
interesting.
5 years.
They
Interesting.
like measure. He has all like a team of doctors, and they measured his like the age
Heart.
of his lungs is 18. The age of his,
all
the age of
make-believe.
his
That's
skin
just
is
make-believe.
28.
I'm
If
sorry.
I were his
the
doctor,
tightness of his skin.
I would also tell him those things.
They just want
I'd
to
tell
make
him to
money.
shut up.
They're
Keep
just
my
making
job.
money
It's
off
just-
of him. They're just like, oh, the tightness of your skin is now down a year, and
the
he pays
length of
them
my
$1 million.
fingernails is the length of a 7-year-old's
Hey,
fingernails.
your wife could quit working at a hospital and just
Do
tell
this?
this dude
Hey.
you're younger and younger man every
she
year.
is a urologist,
it,
so she'd
right.
be like, your penis is the penis of a 73-year-old. That was your trade-off.
He was going for
Jesse.
7-year-old.
And how do we know he doesn't wake up at midnight? I mean, what do we really know about him?
Or does he sleepy? I don't
Right?
I
know.
mean, I think he's
but
exhausted because he didn't eat all day.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I hate
All
this
right,
guy.
fine. I'm exhausted. Can we
It's
get over it?
exhausting.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. There are my 3.
Let's
I'm
vote,
going
let's
for
vote.
the cruises because that is just
Ooh, Ari jumping in. I
Yeah,
like
jumping right in there. But I think it's
bananas.
I think it's also the right answer. It is the cruises.
I love how it's just one company's.
I mean, that's the
Really?
easiest one to be
Best
exhausted by.
traders?
Yeah, that's a clean sweep.
No, I mean the cruises are the worst. We've been covering
Yeah,
it for
cruises
4
are
years.
disgusting.
I mean, if we're gonna talk about like renting clothes to like reduce carbon costs
Let's
of
just
flight,
ban cruises.
at least flights have some utility. Cruises have no utility. It's
Yeah, you
pure
go in a circle.
recreation. You literally go out and you come
you
back.
don't
Come back.
actually experience
And
anything.
there's the stupid. I mean, you could do all the things on a cruise on the ground, on the land. You don't
Yeah,
have to go into the ocean to do
it's
it.
just you're just jumping into a
So
cesspool of a
what
hot
the
tub.
fuck are we doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Build
Mm.
one
All right.
hotel.
Gross.
Okay. Unanimous.
All right.
Which brings us to, let's wrap this up by going into, once I can find the music to wrap us up. Here we go.
It's the same music. You can't
It's
find
always
that.
The same music. That's at the bottom of the list. Riverside. Let me organize my music.
I'm going to start with my winners. Jesse, I had Mark Zuckerberg as my winner because the first week maybe ever that people liked him. I crossed it out. I literally
Nobody
crossed it
likes
out, and you're my winner, Jesse.
Yes.
Because you plugged our platform, Free Flow Analytics, the right way.
Yes, thank you.
And look at you. You actually compared it to the index.
I did.
You took a known universe of companies.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. You're
Am
like
I an analyst?
Yes.
Yes, you're an analyst now.
You're better than
I
Sasha
go to
Sadan, I'll
Greenfin
tell you that
once
much.
And I come back an analyst.
Thank you, Greenfin.
True, yeah. Maybe it is Greenfin that did it.
Ari.
Well, besides Jesse winning the week, I also have
Don't
Judge
say besides
Ketanji
Jesse. You
Brown
only get one winner.
Jackson. What? No, I get 2.
No, you
Anyway, I think Judge Jackson won the week last week, I guess, for saving being able to write about your experiences due to race in the essay portion of college applications. She, during the hearings, she questioned and drew parallels between legacy admissions and minority admissions, basically saying, how are you able to say you're a fourth generation Yaley, for example, but you can't talk about how your great-grandparent couldn't go to school because of segregation, because they were poor, because they were enslaved, all these things. And it made it so powerful that even our super uber conservative court was forced to carve out this particular thing. And they specifically called it out in their decision that even though you can't check a box anymore, you can talk about your experiences because of your
race.
race.
That's so nice of them. That's so nice of the court.
Hey, and this is all her, and she because
it's
of her.
It's an important and great
because of her
dissent.
questioning.
Absolutely.
I love that they're like they like pat her on the head and it's like fine. You can write about being a black person.
I mean, it was
guess.
just so good, legacy admissions that.
Well, they're
She
already
had
being
'em.
sued. Those same
She had
universities are already being sued for that very thing.
for legacy admissions. Yeah,
Yeah.
those are probably going to fall next. My winner of the week,
That's not
though, is conservatives who finally in this country have a safe space.
I thought the safe space was this country.
No, see, that's where you're wrong.
Oh.
They've been marginalized and discriminated against for a long time, for a really long time. I mean, like all these trans people just telling conservatives like what to do and what to say, what Jesus to worship and like what the holidays are. Like now finally conservatives can go to public square and get big guns dog food for their dogs that are patriotic.
And Black Rifle Coffee. I'm just kidding. I
Finally.
don't know if they're on there, but they should be.
They probably are.
Okay, I have
Jesse?
threads, but now I'm disappointed.
Aw.
Yeah. aw.
I mean, specifically
Wait.
because I saw this headline, which said
Yeah.
10 million users joined in 7 hours, and it took Twitter 780
Well,
days.
I'll tell you this, Jesse.
They're
as
up
of
to
an
like
hour
40
ago,
or
that
50 million.
as of an hour ago, that number's 70 million.
Oh
So,
my
Nuh-uh.
God.
Yeah.
Nuh-uh.
That
Yeah.
is insane.
In the
That's
Ari-
pretty insane.
Ari,
Do
you have a
any
question?
questions about
Ari?
threats?
You have a question, Ari?
It's not
Oh.
gonna stick, guys. Don't worry.
Oh, that's not a question. That's
All
a
right,
statement.
predictions.
I think when Apple comes out with their car, you're gonna need to buy their Apple AR headset thing to drive a car.
Ooh, I like this.
Get it.
Forget knobs.
Get out.
Here's my headset.
Actually, I kind of like this.
I
Yeah.
hate that. My prediction is that Larry Fink accidentally says ESG at a conference.
Whoa, what's the penalty there? Is it tied to his bonus? Maybe.
Absolutely no penalty.
I think there's no
That's
penalty,
the
but
kicker.
I think like there's going to be
Demerits.
headlines for a week about how Larry Fink said, "No, I'm not saying ESG," and then it slipped out like he was in the bathroom at the urinal, and somebody was like, "Hey, Larry," and he's like, "ESG." Oh shit!
My prediction is more frightening, and that is that the U.S. Congress is going to try to amend the Constitution to change a law that presidential candidates must be natural-born citizens of the U.S. just so Elon Musk can be our president. And then when Elon Musk becomes president, he's going to get rid of term limits, and then there you go. That's our president for the next 40 years.
Okay, that was literally the worst prediction I've ever heard. I prefer Larry Fink saying ESG.
I like to make real
accidentally.
predictions sometimes.
That's all we got. That's our show for today.
Sweaty show.
It's Damian Rollis, Jesse the Money Whisperer, and Ari the Data Queen. I'm full of BS. Come back next week. We're going to be on a 3-a-week schedule for summer, right? We're on 3 a week. But we'll be around and we'll talk to you